Hello and welcome. I'm the Theory Detective. In these lessons, we'll uncover the mystery of music theory. Now in music, there are two main different sounds. There are other kinds of sounds, certainly lots of other sounds, but there are two main ones. The first one is the major sound. Major sounds bright, happy, triumphant, positive, energized. Now the other one, the second one, is the minor sound. The minor sound's always a little dark, a little mysterious, a little scary. You can think of them like major is maybe jelly beans and minor maybe dark chocolate. They're both good, just in different ways, and pieces tend to utilize both of them. Songs that are focused on the minor might use a major for a particular color or sound, or songs that are in the major might use the minor for a particular color or sound. So they end up being the two most common sounds in music, major and minor. So let's figure out the difference between them. This is kind of a simplified way of looking at it, but still very useful for now. We'll learn more complicated ones later on in higher levels, but for now we're going to do the simplified one. You start out with a note, say like C, and then you step up, and then you step up. These are all steps. Now, between C and D is a whole step. There's a note in between. Here's the note in between. I'm going to play all three of them. So there's the note in between. So that would be a whole step. And from D to E, same thing. Listen to it. There's a note in between, a raised note. I'll play all three. So this one would also be a whole step. So the major sound is built off whole step and whole step, or a whole step pattern. This makes major. Let's look at down here with the bass clef. G to A is a whole step. In between there's another note. Listen to it. All three. That other note in between, that raised note, means that the G to the A is a whole step. And the A to the B is also a whole step because there's another little note in between, a raised note. A and B. Now play all three. A and B together. And here would be the half step. So that's smaller. Here's the bigger one, the whole step. So now we have a whole step pattern. And that is major. Major, major. What about minor? Well, let's take the A for instance. We know that from A to B is a whole step because we just talked about it down here. There's a note in between. So here we have a whole step. But from B to C is a half step. That's smaller. It's much smaller. Here's what the whole step would sound like. Here's what the half step sounds like. Whole step, half step. Whole step, whole step. Whole step, half step. And I'll play the first one and the last one. First one and last one. This is the major. This is C to the E. And this is minor, A to C. I'll change the A one to be major, so I'm going to raise the C to be C sharp. And it sounds more triumphant. Minor, more mysterious. More triumphant, major. So whole step, half step gives you the minor sound. Let's do the same thing over here with the D. D to E, again we know that from here. That's a whole step. But E to F, that's a half step. It's much smaller. The whole step would sound like this. E to F sharp, or F raised, F moved up. So that one would be bigger, but instead we have the regular F, the F natural, and that's smaller. So that's the half step. So this one gives us the minor sound. Major sound, minor sound. It's a little bit smaller. So that's the difference. Remember, there are two main sounds in music. There are other sounds, but the two main ones are the major and the minor. And this is kind of the first step to understanding those. The basic idea of major and minor. Minor will be smaller, major will be larger. And when talking about the first three notes, we have a whole step pattern as opposed to a whole step half step pattern that would be smaller, giving us the minor sound. So if you have the flashcards or the note cards to make flashcards, go ahead and take two out. On one, write major, and build on the whole step whole step pattern. And the other, minor, built on the whole step half step pattern. And add those to your practice pile. Practice them as much as you can until they become very easy. And as always, have a great day.